There's a particular kind of silence that happens on a quiz show set, the kind that isn't scripted, isn't planned, and isn't even noticed until someone points it out. That's roughly the feeling a lot of viewers describe when they talk about Darragh Ennis, the man known to millions as the Menace on The Chase, quietly pulling back the curtain on a show they thought they already understood. It's easy to forget that Ennis wasn't always the one asking the questions. He sat in the contestant's chair back in 2017, and by most accounts, he was good enough that day to make the people running the show sit up and take notice. There's something almost cinematic about that trajectory, the outsider who impressed the room so much that the room eventually pulled him inside it. When he later became the first person in the UK version of the show to cross over from contestant to chaser, it wasn't just a career move. For a lot of longtime fans, it felt like watching someone earn their place in real time. So when Ennis started answering fan questions directly, without a script editor smoothing the edges, people paid attention differently than they would to a press release. There's a kind of trust that builds when a public figure just talks, plainly, into a camera. One of the first things he addressed was something that's followed quiz shows for decades, the whisper that chasers get fed answers through hidden earpieces. He shut that down flatly, almost with a bit of dry exasperation, the tone of someone who's clearly been asked this 100 times and still finds it faintly absurd. That reaction alone told viewers something. It wasn't defensive. It was tired, in the way you get tired of explaining something true. Then came the heavier question, the one that always simmers under the surface of any competition show: why don't the chasers just let people win, especially when it's for charity? And this is where the commentary really opened up, because his answer wasn't really about game strategy at all. It was about identity. He framed it as a matter of professionalism, comparing it to any other job where you don't just hand things away because someone's watching. There's something quietly human in that comparison. It reframes the chaser not as a villain built for television, but as someone doing a craft, seriously, under lights, with cameras on. What made this moment linger with audiences wasn't the information itself. Quiz show fans have long assumed the games are fair. It was the tone. It felt less like a corporate reassurance and more like a person defending the integrity of something he genuinely cares about. That distinction matters more than it seems. Viewers can tell the difference between someone reciting a talking point and someone protecting their own sense of fairness. There's a second layer to all of this too, one that other chasers and even Bradley Walsh himself have touched on separately: the strange, almost secretive choreography that happens off-camera. Ennis has described being ushered around sets, kept apart from contestants, even given a separate food queue, as if the show's illusion depends on the chasers never being seen as ordinary people wandering the halls. It's a small detail, but it says something bigger about how carefully constructed the atmosphere of these shows really is. The mystery isn't just performed on screen. Apparently, it's maintained behind it too. And maybe that's the real thread running through all of this. Viewers didn't just want to know whether the show was rigged or fair. They wanted a glimpse of the person underneath the persona, the neuroscientist who spends his weekdays studying brains and his evenings dismantling contestants' general knowledge, someone who seems both entirely ordinary and slightly extraordinary at once. Bradley Walsh himself has spoken about Ennis with visible respect, describing him as sharper and more capable than his easygoing screen presence lets on. Maybe what stayed with people wasn't any single revelation. It was the sense of watching someone step slightly outside the format built around him, if only for a moment, and just be honest. And perhaps that's exactly why moments like this keep circulating long after the show itself has ended, because audiences don't just want the game. They want to know who's really sitting across the table. What did you notice most? The honesty, the humor, or the glimpse behind the curtain? Let us know what stood out to you.